This is why you keep attracting narcissists, bad people, men that don't like you, people that literally make your life miserable. I'm going to explain to you exactly why you keep attracting these people and how to stop attracting them forever and literally start attracting the people that are here to actually help you. First and foremost, the thing we have to understand about everyone in our life is that no matter how we bend and twist it, people in our lives are actually a mirror of us. That does not mean that I'm telling you that you are a narcissist, but I'm telling you that people are here to trigger something within us so that we change ourselves, so that we make a difference, that we step out and we actually sit down and say, hey, this is not how it's supposed to be. And this is exactly why there are narcissistic people in our lives sometimes. They're not necessarily here just to make your life a living hell. It feels like that, but a lot of the times they're here so that you realize that you're actually manifesting into your reality. When you're a woman who's always talking about how you only attract narcissistic people, maybe you're out and about with your girlfriends all the time and you're talking about, oh my God, there's so many narcissists in my life. I always get narcissistic men, narcissistic this, narcissistic that. What you're doing is you're actually using the law of attraction against yourself to attract narcissistic people. You might not think that you are attracting them. You might think that you're being a critical woman who is looking at your situation with analytical eyes and you're allowed to complain about your life. And while you are allowed to definitely make it clear that you are not completely content with the life you're living, there's only so much analyzing and complaining can do for you. What you need to understand is that, as I said before, everyone's a mirror of you. And what is that has to do with narcissists? You're not a narcissist. Well, a narcissist is trying to make you realize that you are doing something that is bringing this person into your life. And most likely what you're doing is that you are speaking about all of the bad things that you don't want in your life. When it comes to the law of attraction, the law of attraction clearly states whatever it is you focus on, you bring more attention towards. So if you're someone who's constantly talking about narcissistic men, bad men, men that don't do things right. If you're someone, maybe you have a partner and the only thing you can focus on is all of the things that they don't do right. Maybe there's someone who only does things wrong. What you're actually enhancing is you're enhancing that in the existence. It's kind of like when a little kid is told, okay, when we go outside now, I want you to point out all of the blue cars. When that kid goes outside, the only thing that kid can focus on is all of the blue cars. The kid is focused, hyper-focused on whatever it is that's been spoken into reality. That's exactly what you're doing when the only thing you're talking about is narcissistic people, bad people, negative people. If you're someone who's constantly talking about everything that's going wrong in your life, everything that's bad, the fact that everybody is treating you wrong, this is usually what makes you attract narcissistic people. You are someone, you can make a whole list of everybody who's done you wrong. Your mom, your dad, your ex-boyfriend, your dog, the world, society, this person, that person, the list goes on. You can make a whole list about everyone who's done you wrong. The reason this sets you up for attracting more narcissistic people is because you're literally saying it is not my responsibility. It is everybody else's responsibility to change before I can change. My world is not going to change unless all of these bad, narcissistic, terrible people change and they come and apologize to me. And what you're doing now is that you're manifesting more of these people into your life because the universe wants you to get so tired of these people in your life that you realize that you're the one who's manifesting them into your life. Because what you're doing when you're listing and saying that it's everybody else's fault is that you're not taking responsibility. You're not taking responsibility. And what does taking responsibility mean? Well, taking responsibility means that you are actually someone who has the ability to respond differently. Whenever something bad, someone who comes in and triggers you, society doesn't treat you right, society doesn't this, your ex-boyfriend doesn't that, every time this comes in and triggers you, you're prone to reacting. You're prone to be like, oh, all of these things are in my life. They're terrible. Now I need to react. I need to talk about them. I need to always focus on them. I need to focus on them because that's the only way I know how to handle this. But in reality, that is reacting, and that is you being the effect of your reality instead of being the cause of your reality, the creator. You're saying that you are a victim of your own reality. You're actually a victim of your own creation, because understand this, we are creators. We create our own reality. You're not taking responsibility. You're saying it's everybody else's fault. Everybody else has to change in order for you to change. So what happens is that you're saying, I am the victim, I am the victim, I am the victim. And when you constantly say that you're the victim, and when you're saying that it's everybody else's fault, then that's the only thing you can see in your reality. You're not willing to work on yourself. And when you become unwilling to work on yourself, what do you become? You become someone who's actually obsessed with getting everyone else to do everything for them. And that's when you technically, quote unquote, become the narcissist. You don't understand. Why is nobody changing for you? Everybody should change for me. Everybody should come and change for me. Everybody should come do things for me. What is that? You're saying you're not a narcissist? I'm not saying you're a narcissist, but you have to be very critical when it comes to that. If you're saying the whole world needs to change, everyone else needs to change, you don't need to change anything, everyone has to change before you change anything, what does that sound close to? It might not be that you're a narcissist, but you are definitely blinded by the fact that you think that you don't have to change anything and that people should bow to your every wish. No. Society is only responding and sending you exactly what you are, exactly what you need to get fed up with so that you literally leave. And now you've gotten fed up. You're tired of attracting narcissists. So what do? Well, you have a list of all of the things you don't want, all of the people you hate, all of the reasons why everyone is against you. You have to write a list of how everything else is good. What is going good in your life? What are some good people in your life? What are some good things that happened today? You have to start focusing on all of the things that are good. And then you have to stop giving energy into what is bad. And if you're someone who are used to being around negative people all the time, or if you're someone who's always gossiping with everyone, like you're gossiping with people about men, you're always gossiping about men, you're always gossiping about bad men, you're always blaming men, you're always saying men are terrible, they're going to come into your life. You have to shift your focus. You have to focus on all of the things that are possible. This does not mean you become blinded to people acting weird. This does not mean you become blinded to people that are terrible. No. It becomes you understanding that you cannot get what you want if you do not focus on it. That is the law of attraction. Whatever it is you put your attention towards, that is where energy is going to flow. If you're putting your attention towards all of the bad people, all of the bad things, then you're literally reacting. You're reacting to the reality that's presented towards you, and you're saying that I don't want this reality, so that reality becomes stronger until you act differently. And that differently is saying, I'm going to focus on all of the things that I do want. I'm going to focus on all of the things that, well, if I don't want narcissistic people in my life, what do I want? I want people that are open-minded. I want people that are patient. I want people that take care of people around them, but they also take care of themselves. I want people that are self-sufficient. I want people that are hygienic. I want people that are this and this and that. Then you have to ask yourself, am I any of these? If you don't want people who are always gossiping, if you don't want people who are narcissistic, if you don't want people who are mean, if you don't want people who are constantly talking smack, are you doing any of that? If you want to attract people that have rich mindsets, that have good taste, that want to take you into elevated spaces, that want to this and this and that, are you someone who can say that you're actually doing that for yourself? If not, then you're still stuck in that victim mode saying, well, everybody else needs to change in order for me to change. They can't. People can only throw you into the reality that they perceive that you fit into. If people perceive that you fit into the reality of people that are constantly pulling other people down or are constantly speaking negativity into their reality, that's where people are going to pull you. They're going to pull you there. But if you're speaking into reality, even if it feels uncomfortable, the things that you actually want, like you're making more an effort with yourself. You're taking yourself to more expensive places. You're budgeting so that you can go and take care of things that are what you want instead of maybe going out with the friends that you're usually hanging around that are always negative. That's when your reality is going to shift, and that's when you're going to stop attracting people that are so bad because you're realizing you need to change too. What happens now is that you're realizing that you need to make an effort. And this is a lot of the times where people start saying, well, it's everybody else's fault because they don't want to make an effort, because we're all people that are in a bubble. And even though we might think that we don't want narcissistic people in our lives, a lot of the times we've actually grown comfortable with being able to speak ill about other people. We've grown comfortable with being able to say that we are the victim of other people. We've grown comfortable with that. The price you need to pay in order to exit the bubble and get everything that you want, including good people, including never attracting those narcissistic people again, is that you need to get that out. You need to stop doing that. The price you need to pay for having good people in your life and not having narcissists is you need to stop making it so that you're a victim. You need to stop speaking that victimhood, because there is, believe it or not, something within you that probably finds comfort in being someone who is targeted by narcissists. You find comfort in being able to have that gossip to share, maybe with your mom, maybe with your friends, maybe with another guy that you're dating. You actually crave being put in that victim role. And when you crave being put in that victim role, you cannot exit that bubble. And you'll be stuck. Even if you go and do all of the other things, you can only stretch so much, because you're still saying, you still want to talk about the narcissistic people. You still want to talk about how everything is their fault. So you can't actually exit the bubble. So what needs to happen now is that you need to make a decision to not engage in the things that you have been engaging in before. You need to make a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to speak ill of other people. I'm not going to gossip about other people. And I'm definitely not going to say that I'm the victim. When you stop saying that you're the victim and you stop getting the happiness or the comfort out of telling everyone that you're a victim, you suddenly get an empty feeling. You don't understand what's wrong. It's because your whole life, your whole identity has been based upon you being that victim. Your whole identity has been based on you attracting narcissists, based on you attracting bad men, kind of like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City. The reason why she was suddenly running from a healthy relationship when she was with Aiden, if you watch Sex and the City, is because it was not affirming the victim that she was. It was not affirming the identity that she had. That is exactly why when you actually do exit that bubble, when you stop focusing on that you're the victim, when you start taking responsibility, aka the ability to respond differently, then suddenly things are going to feel extremely uncomfortable, because you can no longer dive back in to the reality you once were. When you start introducing yourself to new people with a new story, I'm here to create, I am here to bring, I am here to be happy, instead of the old story, I'm a victim, I'm a terrible person, terrible people find me, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, talking bad about other people, talking gossip about other people, talking gossip about the fact that other people talk gossip. When you stop doing that, then suddenly you have a lot of leftover energy. Suddenly you have a lot of leftover energy and you're sitting like, what am I going to do with this energy? And you're uncomfortable because you're not used to holding this energy. A lot of the times, the reason why we keep attracting bad people into our life is because we feel like we need to give our energy, especially if you're a woman. We want to feel like we're giving our energy because we're not comfortable holding it. So now you have to hold your energy. And when you hold your energy, you start realizing, wow, actually I have a lot of time. I have a lot of energy I can use. And then you start realizing, I can actually use this energy for good. I can put energy into myself. I can put energy into creating new hobbies for myself. I can put energy into going places I've never gone before. I can take chances. It doesn't have to always be so bad. And when you start exiting that bubble that you created, and now you're in new environments and you're not introducing yourself as that old version of yourself, then it is going to be very hard for you to actually go back to that bubble. Because you're going to be like, well, I would never have gotten to the point where I could hold my own energy and see how much energy I had if I hadn't removed my energy. This is exactly why it's also a really good idea, if you want to stop attracting bad people into your life, to go solo for a little bit. Stop dating. Stop dating for a little bit. Stop seeing your friends. And I'm not saying you have to cut them all out, but you cannot gain the perspective on whether these friends are good for you or not unless you remove your energy. Because when you remove your energy from dating, when you remove your energy from people around you, friends, family, all of this, and you go solo for a little while, you suddenly realize how big of an impact the way that you communicate with people about yourself and the way that you are trying to constantly be around people or be around men or be around this and this and that. You realize how much energy that takes, and you realize what path it sends you down. Suddenly, you're sitting with your own energy, and when you're sitting with your own energy, it's actually very much easier to take responsibility because there's no one around you can complain to. There's no one around you can tell, oh, I'm only attracting narcissists. I'm only attracting this, and everyone else is a victim. You have to take care of yourself. You have no one else to tell your sob story to. So what do you need to do? You need to create. You need to do something to keep yourself entertained. You need to do something to feel like you're actually alive. You can't, that placebo feeling you're getting from telling everyone that you're having a terrible time or venting, oversharing to a date about how men treat you badly, or the novelty you get from maybe being on dating apps, whatever it is, it's gone. Now you only have you. Now you realize that all of that energy you had been putting into making other people give you energy back, that you, now it's just you and your energy. You actually realize how much you probably were alike people that you didn't want to attract. When you suddenly sit with your own energy and you suddenly feel triggered. Maybe you're going to start feeling triggered. You want to go out and you want to start talking to your friends again. You feel triggered to go on the dating apps again. You feel triggered to go on dates. You start feeling triggered to do all of these things that you were used to, because now you realize, wow, I was actually very addicted to the validation of constantly trying to give my energy and get people to respond to my energy. So now what you're doing is that you're realizing the hard truth that the universe always wanted you to realize. It's all you. It's all you. The universe wanted to show you that by sending all the bad people into your life so that you got so tired of them that you were like, okay, I'm going to shut myself in my little room. You're not going to do that. You shouldn't isolate yourself. Still go out, but just learn to do it by yourself. And then now you realize, okay, actually, well, so what do I want? Instead of all the things you didn't want before, what do I want? And you realize, well, the only person who can create that for you is you. So you start trying out things. You start having fun with them. You start doing things you never thought you would. And instead of you constantly going back to what you didn't want, you're actually creating new pathways. Saying, oh, I could actually do this. I could actually do that. And then eventually you'll realize that energy that you have within yourself, that energy is pretty good. And after a while, when you go and step out and suddenly you meet the friends that you were used to being around, or you start, like someone comes up and tries to flirt with you, you realize, wow, that doesn't actually feel very good. I'm not actually interested. I'm not interested in that. And then you start just taking your energy back into yourself and you say, hey, I'm actually pretty good by myself. I'm actually pretty happy. And then you get even more time, you get more energy, you get more reflection to reflect on where else you want to go, what else you want to do. And when you get to that point, you're no longer heaving for other people's attention. You're no longer heaving for other people's validation. You're no longer trying to prove yourself. You're no longer trying to get everyone to approve of you by you playing a specific role, aka the victim role that you've probably been playing to feel like you fit in. And now you can be whoever you want to be. And you realize you can actually change who you want to be. You can become even better and even more. And eventually the energy of the people that you were around before, it's going to feel unattractive to you. You're actually going to be repelling it because you no longer heave after trying to prove yourself. You know you are enough. You know you're enough. You know you have everything that you want within yourself because you worked on yourself, because you sat with yourself. And that energy will actually shine very brightly from you. And when that energy starts shining from you, you will literally scare away anyone who doesn't align with that, because you're no longer interacting with people to get them to react to you. You're no longer trying to get people to validate you. You already have enough validation in yourself, so you're not trying to create scenes. You're not trying to create reactions. You're not even trying to create distractions. You have enough in yourself. It doesn't even make sense for you to go out and try to manipulate anyone to like you or tell people how hard you have it. You know that whatever reality you want stems from you. It doesn't stem from what you were talking about in your past. It stems from how you are, who you want to be. And that's how you stop attracting narcissistic people into your life. When you start understanding that you are whole, you are enough, you are good. You start understanding that self-love is something you don't find unless you actually let yourself sit with that energy that you've always wanted from yourself. That energy that you were actually seeking out from other people, those people were that all these people, they had their cup half full and cracked at the same time. Everyone had their cup half full and cracked. And you also had your cup half full and cracked because you all felt like the victim. So you were going to be around other people who feel like a victim. And you're all trying to get everyone else to pour into your cup. Everyone's trying to get each other to pour into the cup, but the cup is never healed. The cup is not healed. So no matter how much you pour into each other's cup, the cup will always be drained because there's literally a freaking hole in it. There's a crack in it. That's what you realize when suddenly you sit with yourself. You realize a lot more things about yourself. And instead of you becoming mad, like saying, well, I was perfect. I'm perfect. It's everyone else's fault. No. You realize, hey, you start understanding. There's a reason why I attracted these people into my life. There's a reason why I attracted the people that always wanted to gossip badly about bad men, or that made me feel like that's what I needed to do. There's a reason why I always ended up on bad dates that made my heart break. There's a reason why I always felt like my energy was drained when I went on dating apps. It's because I did not have my cup healed. So I was looking for someone to fill up the cup instead of actually healing the crack so that I could hold the energy better. Like understand that the cup is actually, if it's cracked, no matter how much you pour into it, it's always going to literally flow out. That is how a lot of unhealed people are. They feel like they're trying to get validation from everyone and they're heaving for it no matter what. And they don't understand that the power actually lies within going into yourself and seeing where the cracks are and working on them from within yourself. And that is, when you start doing that, suddenly you become very busy. You become very busy because you realize there's so many areas of your life that you could improve if you actually just go within yourself. And when you go within yourself and you start focusing on your energy within yourself, the law of attraction states that wherever you put your attention, energy flows. So now you're putting your attention towards yourself. You're putting your attention towards your growth. You're putting your attention towards your inner self. You're putting your attention towards your inner child. You're saying to your inner child, this is your inner child, hey, you're good enough. Whatever you did to get me here, that's good enough. The reason why a lot of the times we end up attracting narcissistic people, even when we think we've healed, even when we think we're doing good enough and now I've done all the self-work, is because we have a tendency to think that we are better, we are cooler, better, stronger than our child or our old self. Not even our child self, more like our old self. We're like, oh yeah, I'm up here. I got myself all the way up here. I'm done with my old self. Screw my old self. When you're saying that, you're essentially saying, I'm a mean person. I'm a mean person. I'm a selfish person in the sense that I'm selfish in a bad way. I'm selfish in a bad way where I can't see how much that version of me had to go through in order to get here, and that if I don't love this version of myself, that version of myself will pull at me. That version of myself will pull and pull and pull to get me down because I haven't accepted that version of myself. Every single time you say to yourself, well, now I'm better. I'm not going to attract narcissists anymore. I worked on myself. I clocked it, blah, 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 blah. What's going to happen is when you say, well, my old self can go eat sand. My old self, blah, blah, blah. You're going to make your old self feel bad. Because we always talk about the inner child, but the inner child is also your old self. The inner child is you a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago. Your inner self, your inner child is you 2 months ago, 2 years ago. Your inner self, that inner child needs you no matter what. And that's why when we're trying to level up and why we end up actually attracting narcissists sometimes throughout our self-growth journey, even if we think we're doing a lot of self-work and we have taken responsibilities, we haven't taken responsibility. We haven't taken responsibility in the sense that we don't actually respond differently when it comes to our inner self. Because that's also somewhere we need to respond differently. We can't just react and be like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Because when we say, I don't want to deal with that, I don't want to deal with my past self. Oh, you did so many mistakes. You're telling your past self, there's no space for you. I don't want you. You're terrible. And what's going to happen then is that your inner self is going to be like, oh, you're trying to shun me. Essentially, you're trying to fight your inner self. You're saying, I'm a threat. I'm a threat. You're telling your own body that you're a threat. You're telling your own body that you're a threat. And when you're telling your own body, your own self-perception that you're a threat by saying my old self isn't okay, your body won't let you progress. Your body won't let you progress. Your body will keep you stuck and keep pulling you back until you say, okay, okay. And what happens when the body keeps pulling you back is that you're going to run into the people you didn't want to run into. You're going to run into the narcissistic people. And you're going to be like, well, I did so much self-work. How come I still run into these people? How come I did all this self-work? Because you're probably not accepting your inner self. You're probably telling your old self, you're bad. You're terrible. We're moving on. We're done. We're done. No. You have to take that old self with you and say, hey, buddy, I'm so proud of you for trying to keep me safe. I'm so proud of you for keeping me, going. I'm so proud of you for doing what you thought was right. And that's okay. It's done. It's done now. We don't need to do that anymore. We got more going on. We know that's different now. It's different now. When you say that to your body, when you say to your body, hey, it's okay. Thank you so much. Actually, thank you so much. Even you say thank you to the version of yourself that attracted the narcissist. Saying thank you to the version of yourself that had all the bad interactions with people, that maybe made some bad choices. Maybe the version of yourself that had the victim mentality. The version of yourself that always people pleased. That version of yourself. You have to say thank you to that version. Hey, thank you. Because without that version, you would have never gotten here. And that way you keep yourself from attacking yourself. You let your inner self relax. Your inner self can feel comfort now because your inner self know that, hey, we're not trying to fight anymore. We don't need to be reactive anymore, because that inner self will still try to be reactive and it will still bring the reactivity that brings you back to narcissist again and again if you do not thank it for taking you this far. When you start thanking yourself, even if you're not perfect, you will be able to become better and better, quicker and quicker, because you're not letting yourself dwell on the past. You're not letting yourself dwell on what happened. You're literally saying, I'm releasing this. It's okay. It's good. And you can come along if you want, but we're done with that part. It's, it's all good. I have you. I got you. We're trying something new. We're having fun. And then your body is going to be able to relax and be like, oh, we're actually trying something new. We're having fun. It's nothing threatening. I'm not going to die. And then you will let yourself elevate to a point where when you're climbing up the mountain of self-growth, this is down here where the narcissists are. And this is where you were before. And this is where you are now. And when you get to the mountain of you're climbing up, you're saying, you know what? I'm so proud of the progress you made. Don't worry, you can relax now. You can relax now. We don't need that anymore. You don't get pulled back, which is going to pull you back eventually to the narcissist. You progress. You're letting yourself rest. You're letting that version of yourself rest, knowing that it did good. It did good. It's not trying to fight to prove itself. Because when you're trying to always tell yourself, you did bad, we're done with that version of yourself, the old version is going to react and be like, I'm trying to prove myself, just like you were trying to do with everyone around you before, with people you're dating, with your friends. And that's how you end up attracting narcissists again, even if you think you did your self-growth. So when you instead say, hey, thank you so much, you did good. You did good. Then you set yourself free. And now you can climb so high because you've accepted yourself as whole. And that is something that a narcissist can't do, because they're constantly looking for that peace, that water that can fill up the broken cup instead of healing the broken cup. You said, I'm healing the broken cup. The cup is not broken. It never was. I have everything that I need within myself. And that is ultimately how you stop attracting narcissists, and you turn everything around so you can actually achieve everything that you ever wanted.